Uneducated. Worthless. That's what you are. My dad didn't say it in private. He said it at the dinner table, in front of my uncle, in front of my cousins, in front of the same relatives who nodded at everything he said like it was law. All I had done was tell him I wasn't joining his business. I'm building something of my own, I said calmly. He laughed, not surprised, not curious, just amused. You, he said, pointing his fork at me. You barely made it through college. You think you can survive without my name? A few people chuckled. My uncle added, experience matters. Education matters. Not internet dreams. Internet dreams. That's what they reduced years of late nights to. They didn't see the courses I took after everyone slept. They didn't see the small clients I handled quietly. They didn't see the plans mapped out in notebooks no one opened, because they never asked. My dad leaned back in his chair, like he had just delivered the final verdict. The world doesn't reward fools, he said. When you fail, don't come crying back. I felt every word, but I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I didn't start listing what I had already accomplished, because I understood something in that moment. People who need to feel superior will never listen to quiet progress. If I explained, it would sound like bragging. If I stayed silent, it would look like weakness. So I chose silence. I picked up my glass of water and took a slow sip. I'm not asking for approval, I said evenly. I'm informing you. That made him laugh louder. Confidence without education is arrogance, he replied. Remember this night. Oh, I would, but not for the reason he thought. Dinner continued like nothing had happened. Conversations shifted, plates moved, but something inside me had already changed. I wasn't angry. I was clear. They believed education only lived inside certificates. They didn't understand that education could also be discipline, observation, execution. When the evening ended, I stood up quietly. No dramatic exit, no slammed doors. Just a simple, calm goodbye. As I walked out, I heard him say to my uncle, he'll learn the hard way. Maybe, but not the way he imagined. They thought they had reduced me to nothing with a few words. They had no idea I was already becoming something they couldn't define. The next few years were quiet, not the kind of quiet that comes from defeat, the kind that comes from focus. While my dad repeated the story of his uneducated son at family gatherings, I was building in ways no one around me understood. I didn't argue anymore. When relatives asked, "So what are you doing now?" I answered with one word, working. That answer frustrated them more than failure would have. At first, it was small freelance projects, remote contracts, consulting work for clients who cared more about results than degrees. I studied at night, not for certificates to frame, for competence. Every weakness I had, I attacked quietly: communication, finance, strategy, negotiation. If I didn't know something, I learned it. If I failed at something, I analyzed it. No announcements, no motivational posts, no dramatic updates, just progress. Slow, controlled, intentional. By 25, I had steady clients overseas. By 27, I registered my own company. The paperwork had my name on it, not my father's, mine. I built systems instead of chasing applause, reinvested instead of celebrating, expanded instead of explaining. Meanwhile, I heard things. The shop wasn't doing as well. Competition increased. Margins tightened. My dad blamed the economy, blamed the younger generation, blamed these modern trends. Ironically, the same trends he mocked were the ones building my income. But I never corrected him. At family functions, he still introduced me casually. He's figuring things out. I would nod politely, Because I was. Just not the way he imagined. There was one evening when the truth almost surfaced. A distant relative mentioned my company name during a conversation about digital expansion. My dad frowned. That's a serious firm, he said. I stayed quiet. I let the topic shift. I wasn't ready to explain. Not yet. I wasn't building to prove him wrong. I was building to become undeniable. There's a difference. Proving someone wrong keeps you emotionally tied to them. Outgrowing them frees you. By 30, I wasn't chasing clients anymore. Clients were approaching me. By then, my name carried weight in rooms my father had never entered. But at home, the old narrative still existed. The uneducated son, the worthless risk-taker. They were still discussing my potential. I was already operating in reality. They were still talking about me. I was already far ahead of them. The business conference was packed that evening. Local owners, investors, community leaders. My father was there too. Front section, third row. He didn't know I was speaking. When the host picked up the microphone and announced my name, followed by the company I had built, I saw it. That pause, that moment where the mind tries to reject what the ears just heard. I walked onto the stage calmly. No dramatic entrance. No emotional speech. Just structure. I spoke about systems, about scaling, about adapting to markets instead of blaming them. I didn't glance at him. I didn't need to. The presentation ended with steady applause. Not explosive, not exaggerated, just respectful. Afterward, people lined up to talk. Partnership questions, investment conversations, business cards exchanged. From the corner of my eye, I saw him standing still, waiting. When the crowd thinned, he approached slowly. "You built this company?" he asked. His voice wasn't loud anymore. It wasn't dismissive. It was careful. "Yes," I said. No explanation. No story about the nights. He mocked me. No reminder of that dinner table. Just confirmation. He nodded, looking around at the people who had just shaken my hand. "I didn't know," he admitted. "I know," I replied. Silence settled between us. Not awkward, not hostile, just real. For the first time in my life, he wasn't speaking from authority. He was speaking from recognition. "I was hard on you," he said quietly. "You were certain," I corrected calmly. He looked at me, almost searching for anger. There wasn't any. Anger would have meant I was still trying to win something from him. I wasn't. "I never needed you to understand," I said. "I only needed time." He exhaled slowly. In that moment, the roles shifted, not because I demanded respect, but because I no longer required permission. I didn't insult him back, didn't replay his words, didn't say, "I told you so." Power doesn't need volume. It needs presence. As he walked away, I returned to another conversation about expansion plans. Business moved forward. So did I. They thought I was uneducated because I chose a different path. They thought I was worthless because I stayed quiet. They confused silence with incompetence. They didn't know I was simply busy becoming strong. Silence is not weakness. It is preparation.